So I'm going to be somewhat briefer than normal because I'm actually recording this literally a few hours before I need to leave the house so I can get to the train station to actually get to the convention. Because once again, all plans went out the bloody window. So, UFC and Indies, that does include New Japan stuff, so we will be covering that here. First, let's get through the UFC news, because there's a heck of a lot. So, this past week, another match got cancelled. The Felipe Arantes-Luke Sanders match had to be pulled out with Felipe pulling out due to illness. Which, we'll get to that because that continues. Tickets are on sale this week for the Madison Square Garden show. 3 new fights, including Jared Gordon taking on Hakran Diaz, along with a couple of others, have been added to the October 28th show in Sao Paulo. Jesse Taylor's denied using steroids or failing a test for them after being flagged by USADA. And this hasn't fully come out yet. But apparently, and this has been put out by a statement from the UFC, another of their fighters might have had a doping violation. Carlos Felipe's apparently been flagged. So the match that he was going to be having as part of that Sao Paulo card at the end of October apparently might not be happening now. And on top of that, the show happening in the next day or so, Mauricio Shogun Rua, he is now off the card due to a knee injury. So of the new event, the new main event is of Ansem Priyu facing Yushin Akami, who's coming back. Luke Rockhold basically challenged Michael Bisping and basically hinted that GSP should just step aside and let him challenge. You know, he should step down and have him challenge in November. Which I don't think is what's going to happen. UFC have also announced that they're going to be running Fresno for the first time ever. I'm not sure whether the show that's listed here is September the 2nd or more likely February the 9th. I haven't had time to look at it because everything. Interestingly, when GSP says if he loses, it might be his last ever fight. Bisping's now said that it's probably his last fight, whether he wins or loses. So double retirement. UFC also announced this week a partnership with Miracle Flights, who provide free commercial air transportation for critically ill children for medical care if they're way away from home. So nice little thing there. Also, regarding this show that's happening in Japan in the next couple of days, Alan Juban's going to be debuting as a commentator. So it looks like we've got a rotating circle of like 4 or 5 different commentators, and because they're now trying to find obviously the replacement, given that Stan, stepped down. Edmund Tarvadian said he'd like to see Ronda fight Cyborg. Cyborg isn't interested in the matchup in the UFC and wants to do it in WWE instead. Wow. Vince is going to get back into... I know he promoted one of those boxing things back in the 90s with Sugar Ray Robinson, but might be doing it with UFC or MMA now. Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg will now be the semi-main event of UFC 216, with Ferguson versus Lee for the interim lightweight belt still headlining. Stipe Miocic is aiming to come back sort of December or January, and would have loved to have fought John Jones if, obviously, John Jones' situation hadn't happened. The Norfolk, Virginia show has had Rafael Asunciao versus Matthew Lopez and Sage Northcutt versus Mikael Quinones added to it. And also, Bellator, which we'll talk about this weekend, they're doing, once again, their dual kickboxing stuff and the MMA stuff. So they're going to be using a special cage, apparently, which will allow them to easily transition between the two matchups. In terms of viewership, not too bad, really, considering it was up against a lot of big stuff, including the boxing, which I will give my thoughts on briefly. On Fox Sports 1, it sort of averaged around 870-something thousand for the whole show, and the main event got roughly in the region of 1.1 million. So not too bad. And Roy McDonald, sticking with the Bellator stuff, he'll be challenging Douglas Lima for the Bellator welterweight title in their show in LA on January the 20th. So to what happened this past week, the fight night stuff. I'll quickly go through the cards. Because of everything being moved, there was just a prelim card and a main card. There was no Fight Pass stuff. So we had Gilbert Burns beating Jason Sago with a second late, really late, with about a few seconds left, knockout in the second round. Midway through the second, Uriah Hall beat Krzysztof Jotko. Daniel Spitz victorious over Anthony Hamilton with a 24-second knockout. How the hell didn't that get performance of the night? And Olivier Aubin Mercier beat Tony Martin via split decision. 2-1, 29-28 for two judges, and flipped around for the third judge, so Olivier won that one. On the main card, we had Justin Leday beat Zhu Anwanu in the heavyweights via split decision, again, 2-1. 2-1, 29-28 split across all three judges. In the welterweights, Kamaru Usman beat Sergio Morales midway through the first via KO. Gregor Gillespie victorious over Jason Gonzalez with a second round submission. Third round TKO for Anthony Smith over Hector Lombard. A 80-second or so knockout via a pretty good knee strike with Mike Perry against Alex Reyes. And then in the main event, Luke Rockhold beat David Branch via punches submission, which is a bit of a different one. About a minute left in the second out of the 5 rounds. So in terms of the bonuses, Gillespie and Gonzalez for that for their match in the lightweight division got 50,000 each for the fight of the night. And then performance of the night, Mike Perry for his knee knockout, and also Uriah Hall on the prelims. They both got $50,000 themselves. In terms of this weekend, first the Bellator. I'll only go through the main card here because the other bit is like kickboxing stuff as well. I think there is like a welterweight kickboxing title match on that undercard along with the other stuff. But I'll just run through the main MMA stuff because, to be honest, the only reason I've put this down as a show which we'll briefly cover is because Benson Henderson is on the card in the main event, taking on Patricky Pitbull. We've also got Javi Alaya versus Roy Nelson, Paul Daly taking on Lorenz Larkin, Goiti Yamuchi versus Adam Piccolotti, and Aaron Pico versus Justin Lin. There's about another 8 or 9 as well. Matches on, I think, Spike's website and whatever. But that's the stuff that will be airing on Spike TV from San Jose. And the show in Japan from UFC in Saitama will be on FXX. Apart from the one prelim fight, but then if anything else moves, then I guess that won't be on Fight Pass. There was another pull-out, not just the Shogun one. Naoki Inoue was going to be facing Janelle Lauser at the event. But Naoki had to pull out apparently due to dislocated shoulder. There still, I believe, hasn't been a replacement named. I should probably have a quick look at that in case there has. No, it doesn't seem to be. So, the one prelim fight that apparently is happening on Fight Pass, Daichi Abe versus Hyungun Lim in the welterweights. Then on the prelims on FXX, it'll be Shinsho Anzai versus Luke Gumiao in the welterweights. A women's strawweight bout of Sioi Kondo versus Chan Mi-jeon. Next, the flyweight bout with Jussier Formiga versus Ulka Sasaki. And then the welterweights, Kaito Nakamura faces Alex Morono. Then for the main card, all again on the FXX channel, Mizuto Hirota faces Charles Rosa in the featherweights. That kicks us off, along with another heavyweight bout after, with Teruto Ishihara taking on Roland Dai. Then in the light heavyweights, we got Gohan Saki versus Enrique da Silva. Then with the lighterweights, we got Takanori Gomi versus Dong Hyun Kim, who I think, just to clarify, I think that's Korean Zombie. Oh, perhaps not. Maybe. Doesn't say anything about him on his bloody Wikipedia. Oh, the Maestro. So it isn't him. The women's strawweight bout in the co-main slot. Interesting one, Claudia Gadela versus Jessica Andrade. So it's basically Brazil versus Brazil. So, in Japan. And in the main event, Vincent Peru versus Yushin Okami. Yushin stepping in place of the injured Shogun. So, we'll have to see how it goes. So that's all on the UFC front. Now to results and this coming weekend for New Japan. So the Hiroshima show was last Saturday. Certainly overall a better show than the previous one in Fukushima. In terms of what went down, well, Roppongi Vice won their farewell match, beating Yujiro and Chase. Now, Yujiro basically afterwards asked Beretta to join the junior heavyweight division, but then also offered another alternative, face him in a singles match. And Beretta seemingly accepted. So it looks as if we're getting Yujiro versus Trent Beretta down the line, given that obviously that's the pairing. That pairing is finished, at least for the time being. So Taguchi Japan's team of Taguchi and Ricochet beat Taichi and Kanemaru to retain. Then interestingly afterwards, Rocky Romero, who was on doing commentary, I believe Don Callis was away for this one, came into the ring and announced that the next generation of Roppongi Vice is born. Taguchi isn't the only coach in the game, and that Rocky's going to be bringing in a team bigger and faster than those guys, and Roppongi 3K are coming for them. That has been listed as a match which is happening on the King of Pro Wrestling show, I think like the 9th of October, I can't remember the exact date. Yeah, 9th of October, I'm right. And Ricochet said, whoever Roppongi 3KR, bring him on. Because Taguchi Japan will be the junior tag champs forever. Which means they're probably dropping the belts. War Machine, again, retained. Laying out Davey Boy Smith with a fallout this time. And then the main event. Well, actually, no. Before we get to that, yeah, not to the main event. Kushida beating El Desperado. Pretty good match. Not as good as it could have been. But the interesting stuff came afterwards, because Ospreay came out and said that he's been defined as a man that can't beat Kushida, but wants to now be defined as somebody that gets right back up after being beaten. And so wants to challenge the junior heavyweight division and New Japan. So he's challenging Kushida at King of Pro Wrestling for the belt. So then Takahashi shows up. He clearly wanted to challenge himself, except he gets knocked out immediately by a punch from Ospreay. And the two leave sort of happy on it, and Hiromu's throwing a fit in the ring. Don't know what Daryl's doing. And then Tanahashi beat Zack Sabre Jr. in the main event to retain the Intercontinental title, and it was said to be really good by the people that have seen it. Mainly because you got the Styles Clash. Sabre really bringing out some stuff that you don't normally see from Tanahashi. But Tanahashi eventually managed to win. Suzuki then tried to sort of interfere and everything, but Elgin sort of put pay to him and everything. So yeah, one with the swing blade, high fly flow, finishing combo that he has. Then afterwards, he called out, along with, considering Sabre was a guy that beat him at the G1, he called up another one, and that's Kota Ibushi. And the two had a stare down and, nodded, and after hearing what Tanahashi had to say, left. And Kawato handed Tanahashi his air guitar and whatever. But yeah, that's now been set up as well. Tanahashi versus Ibushi at King of Pro Wrestling on the 9th for the Intercontinental title. In terms of this weekend stuff, it's the Kobe show, the last of the Destruction big shows with the titles. The only stuff of note, in terms of title matches at least, is once again a triple threat with Gorillas and Killer Elite Squad challenging War Machine for the tag belts. And then, for his only action, because of the injury and everything, Kenny Omega defending the United States title against Juice Robinson. I guess if it is of note, Okada and Ospreay will be in action as well against Evil and Hiromu Takahashi to build up to King of Pro Wrestling. At least in terms of Okada and Evil's matches. So we've done that, so let's run through the results. So CMLL, their anniversary show. I won't run through all the results because, again, I'm just looking at the time in terms of what I've got to do. I will run through the big bits, though. Both the heels were victorious in the mask matches. So Zeuxis won the match against Princessa Suhei. So, yeah. Suhei becomes the first woman to lose her mask on an anniversary show. She won the first fall, but lost the next two to Zeuxis, so the heel won. Overall, the final fall was decided via a Spanish fly from Zeuxis, and Princessa Suhei unmasked as Ernesta Suhei Salazar Martinez, aged 37, with 21 years experience as a luchadora. So I guess, as I said on Monday, I guess the Mae Young Classic was a farewell to her, at least in her masked gimmick, so there we go. The other masked match, which is the main event, Gran Guerrero, the heel, defeating Niebla Roja in a masked match. Once again, it was the third fall. It wasn't two straight falls or anything. It was the third fall that decided it. with a Michinoku driver. And the Bella Roja unmasked and unveiled himself as Sergio Raimundo Chavez, aged 31 with 11 years of experience. Remember the last time that something this high profile happened? Andre Cien almost happened. Because everybody went, wow, he's handsome without the mask. And WWE went, yeah. Do you want some money? And also, worth noting, Volador Jr., Flip Gordon, and Captain Caristico beat Satoshi Kojima, Mephisto, and Captain Ultimo Guerrero. Well, I guess Ultimo Guerrero. Captain was the role, and Caristico was the captain of the other side as well. But the Technicos won that one. Flip hitting a 450 splash on Ultimo Guerrero, and Volador covering Mephisto after Super Frankensteiner. They both counted. Dual falls. I guess it's allowed. Maybe. Dragon Gate Japan. Their Dangerous Gate show culminated. So the Brave Gate title, Jimmy Kagetora retained over Yasuke Santamaria. Chima and Dragon Kid also retained the Twin Gate belts over Big R and Kotoka. And then in the losing unit disbands match, which was next, it was Shingo Takagi, T-Hawk, Takashi Yoshida, El Linderman, and Punch Tominaga, beating Genki Horiguchi, H.A. Jimmy, Ryo, Jimmy Saito, Jimmy Susumu, Jimmy Kane-S, GKS, and Jimmy Kanda. So yes, the Jimmies are no more. The Jimmies are dead. And it was no DQ as well, and it went somewhere in the region of like 34, 35 minutes. And then after that, it wasn't even over, because the Dreamgate title happened, and we have a new champion, Masaki Mochizuki, beating Yamato to become the 26th champion. In his closing speech, along with other stuff. You know, he did note that there'd be a lot of turmoil given that the Jimmies now can't disband, and, you know, who they'll now partner up with and all that stuff. And then saying at 47 years and 8 months of age, he's once again champ, and will probably have to fight challenges that are half his age. He's not sure how long his stamina will hold out, but he's ready to carry Dragon Gate again. He's had a planned trip to Europe this weekend with Chima and a few others. Yeah, we'll get to that. Now he's going as champ and will proudly go and show the world what the champ of Dragon Gate is made of, and promise to deliver more thrilling and chest-pounding excitement. At least he isn't great. I think their next major show, if I have a look, is October the 5th. That's their next Kurikan Hall show. So, in terms of the results, now, if you remember, I talked about the Bytown Championship Wrestling and all that deal. Full credit to Acclaim and C4, who also operate out of the Ottawa area. Because they pulled together and at the last minute set up Do the Right Thing. For, I guess, many of the local wrestlers and whatever that could help out and sort of say, you know, do the right thing, literally. So, on the show, Cecil Nix pinned Dino Benjamin to win the APW Provincial title. Decker Lockhart, Dale Kilburn, Jeff Fury, Colin Oliver, and Kevin Cartwright. Victorious over Isaiah Bronson, Vagabond Ryan Rogan, Marides, Thunder, and Magic Mario Bryant. Evil Uno beat Ryan Donovan by countout after delivering a tombstone pole driver out on the floor. CC Galanvis beat Catherine Van Gogh. Michael Van Payton and Raheem Ali, the APW Tag Champs, beat Jay George and Dan O'Hare. James Stone beat Mikey Skyros. And in the main event, Stu Grayson won the 4-way match against Jeff Cannonball, Jonathan Rukin, and Francis Novak. So, I'll say it was Ottawa. Ontario. And, you know, C4 in there, where the results were on their page, they did thank the 150 fans that came out on such short notice and celebrate Ottawa wrestling. So, and I think the big deal with it as well is people could pay what they want to see the show as well. So I don't know whether some people went in for free and whatever, but hell, it's a nice little thing and, you know, good on them. So with the IWA Mid-South show, the Ted Petty Invitational, the show opened with Ian Rotten saying that Davey Richards is a no-show because he's injured, and they basically said F Davey Richards. Devon Moore replacing him. Turns out with the Davey Richards stuff, I guess he's just injured his knee or something. But I find it interesting that this all comes out literally a week before he's supposed to be coming back. Not only with the Ted Petty Invitational, but the Evolve stuff. Which means they're having to make changes on the fly. And as a lot of people would be unsurprised by, is Davey Richards no-showing an event either due to legitimate injury, like a legitimate reason, like an injury, or just because. Also, Aaron Williams presented with the IWA title, which he won at the last show after Elgin vacated it. So the IWA title is on the line in all of his matches as well. So, in the tournament, we had Mance Warner beat Space Monkey, Zodiac beat Calvin Tankman, Su Young beat Ludark Shaitan, Homicide beating Gary J, Jonathan Gresham beating Anthony Henry via submission, with reports saying that this was the best match of the first night. Shane Strickland beating Ace Perry, Aaron Williams beating Eric Cannon to retain and also progress, Larry D beat Congo Kongs, David Starr beat Shane Mercer, Devon Moore beat Jonathan Wolfe, which got a better than Davey chant from the crowd, Eddie Kingston beat Nate Webb, and Jake Christ beat Dave Christ in a very physical match, apparently. So then with night 2, they started off with the quarterfinals, because apparently there was 8 matches there, so that doesn't make sense. I guess the Su Young one may not have been in the tournament. No. But there wasn't any clarification there. So Jake Christ beat Shane Strickland in the first of the quarterfinals. We also had Eddie Kingston victorious over Zodiac, Jonathan Gresham beating Devon Moore, and Larry D getting the win over Mance Warner. So they're the final 4. Apparently. No, they can't be. No, they are tournament matches. Jeez, notes here. So then we had Su Young beating Homicide. So it started with Homicide saying he was going to kill Su Young and asked Ian Rotten why he booked the match, and, you know, whatever happens to Su's on the crowd. And, you know, Homicide mocked Su and everything and beat the crap out of her, and Su misted him when escaping a cop killer. There was a ref bump, and then the second ref counted the pin, and Su Young went through. And also Aaron Williams beat David Starr to retain the belt and move on to the semis. Then in non-tournament action, Nate Webb beat Space Monkey in a funny sort of comedy match. Then the semi-finals, Jonathan Gresham beat Larry D after Larry D passed out in the sleeper hold, with Larry getting some props afterwards from Rotten. Aaron Williams beat Eddie Kingston, apparently with Kingston getting a very stiff powerbomb with a very loud thud. So Aaron retains and then goes on to the final. And Jake Crest beat Su Young as well. So those are your final 3. Then a couple of non-tournament matches. Ludark Shaitan and Gary J beat Anthony Henry and Shane Saber. And Dave Chris, Cole Roderick and Ace Perry and Congo Kong beat Calvin Tankman, Shane Mercer, Jonathan Wolfe and Eric Cannon. And afterwards, Dave Crist asked Ian Watt on for a match with Ace Perry, saying now he respects the kid, and he'll either make him or break him. And then the TPI finals, Aaron Williams won, eliminating Jonathan Gresham and Jake Crist via a kick to the head. So, and then afterwards, Shane Mercer attacked Aaron Williams as he celebrated the win. Then Devon Moore showed up and got rid of Shane Mercer, and Devon cashed in his title shot on Aaron. And Aaron won pretty quickly with Get Over Here. I'm guessing that's what it's a nod to in Mortal Kombat stuff. So Aaron won the tournament, retained the belt, and successfully stopped the challenge from Devon Moore and kept the belt still. He's been busy. Shimmer. Well, I guess Bellatrix and Shimmer and Rise did a special thing in Norwich this past Friday at the Epic Studios for WAW, the Knights Company. So on this one, Deonna Purrazzo beat Shax, Jetta beat Amara, Mercedes Martinez beat Scarlett in non-title for title stuff, because of course that was the Shimmer champion beating the Bellatrix British champ. Violet O'Hara beat Charlie Evans, Dominique beat Jules Malone. The Knights of Saraya and Nikki beat Leia Elise and Innocence via submission. We have a new Bellatrix World Champion, though. Laurie beat Alex Windsor and Queen Maya to become the new champ. Shotzi Blackheart retained the Phoenix of Rise title against Delilah Doom. And Sigma of Dust and the returning Rosemary beat the Angelics of Erin Angel and El La Luna. So Rosemary in the main event. I guess it's only fair. ICW's infamous ICW stuff. I guess the stuff of note. Bram isn't going to be reinstated, and he offered to reinstate Bram as long as Ravy Davey didn't retaliate, and Ravy said that Dallas had sold out and pushed him out the ring, and then Dallas said, okay, Bram's reinstated, and Ravy Davey suspended. So I guess that went well. Also of note, the Filthy Generation beat Legion in a six-man. Then afterwards, Mikey Whiplash from Legion called Chris Renfrew back into the ring for not being there for Michael Dante, and Renfrew brought a steel chair and used the chair on Dante. So Whiplash kicked him out of the Legion, so he's gone. Johnny Moss beat Lionheart in Lionheart's quest to RVD, if you want to call it that. The Marauders of Bird and Boar beat British Strong Style to retain the tag belts, and Joe Coffey beat Cassius Ono to retain the ICW World title. It appears as if the main event, at least in terms of ICW World title matches for Fear and Loathing, is Joe Coffey versus BT Gunn. Hopefully they build that well. Because I'm not entirely hyped for that one. So then we had this impromptu, because I never noticed it, the Shikara Hour of Power happening this past week. So the Proletariat Board Moldova beat Ace Haven in the opening bit. So then there was a bit with Ophidian, the former Whisper and whatever, because now that he's got the Ophidian persona, he can actually properly talk. And he said how the first Ophidian squandered his ability to control people and use the power of suggestion. So Whisper took his skin to make Ophidian reach its maximum potential, whatever that is. Defarge and Crummels beat Donny Primetime and Lights, Camera and Action. That's a damn good name. With an Hype Rockwell beat Britt Jackson by DQ when Race Jackson attacked him before Rockwell could hit his finisher. Murloc beat Cabana Mandan. And then Fire Ant pinned Sloan Caprice, getting his third point. And then Rick Rowland came back after injury for a few months and attacked Fire Ant not once but twice during the match. But the key thing to note is Fire Ant has his 3 points. The vengeance is still coming. Even though the champ has got nothing to do with House Roth. Or, whatever you want to call it that. The ACW and the Style Battle shows, I don't have any results for, so apologies for that. In terms of PWX, he cast the first stone. Just because of, again, time, I'm going to quickly go through some of the key matches. There were some dark matches on it, but we had Darius Lockhart retain the PWX ITV title over Nathan Cruz. Chip Day beat David Starr. Aaron Monroe beat Catherine Darcy. Elijah Evans IV won the 5-way X16 tournament qualifier, beating Alexander James, Ethan Case, Fred Yehai, and Jason Cade. Martin Stone, victorious over John Schuyler. Jonathan Gresham defeated Tracer X. The Ugly Ducklings got the win over Jake Manning and White Mike. And Anthony Henry retained the PWX heavyweight title against James Drake. With Smash Wrestling, for their afternoon show from the ground up, Young Miles beat Kevin Blanchard. The Kevin Bennett Experience of Big Tank and Muscle beat the best of Logan Reed and Spunk. Okay. Space Monkey beat Aiden Prince. Kobe Durst defeated Matt Angel. Samantha Heights beat Sandra Bayo. And Kevin Blackwood victorious over Carter Mason. And then on the 100th show, we had Shane Saber beat Lionel Knight. Tabernacle Team of St. Jacques and Dubois beat the Steady Ballers of Alex Vega and Brent Banks. Ali beat Sienna. Jeff Cobb victorious over Kevin Bennett and Sebastian Suave. I think it's Suave. I saw a video bit from, like, the talk, and it was apparently pronounced Sauve. I don't know. Scotty O'Shea beat Kaito Kiyomiya. The Well-Oiled Machines beat Allow Beefcake and Flight or Flight in a triple threat tag match. Tyson Dukes retained the Smash Wrestling title against Jake Christ. And then, randomly in the main event, Peter Williams beating Jay White. There we go. Shine 45 now, results. Camilla Kane beat Miss Hannah in the Sparkle Showcase match. In the Anything Goes match, ACR beat La Rosa Negra. Afterwards, she was interviewed, but Rosa ran her off before she could really say a lot. MJ Jenkins beat Natalia Markova. Stormy Lee victorious over Lady Chardonnay Darcy. And Stormy afterwards lectures the crowd for being rednecks and how you do whatever it takes to win. Vanessa Craven beat Dementia DeRose. And then afterwards, Dementia basically destroyed Craven with multiple weapons of mass destruction. Wait, her finisher is WOD? Okay. The Cutie Pie Club of Aria Blake, Candy Cartwright, and Kira Hogan beat Aya Pereira, Dominic Fabiano, and Leah Knox. Afterwards, the Cutie Pie Club were interviewed, and they're celebrating Kira Hogan's birthday, their victory, and then she will be getting a title shot at Priscilla Kelly's Nova title at Style Battle. Again, I don't know what happened there. Allison Kay beat Brandy Lauren, and Lauren attacked Kay from behind with the Knockouts title and put boots to her afterwards, and Allison recovered and got her back her belt and threw the pinkies up. So yeah, here she's a face. In Impact, she's a heel. Questions? Priscilla Kelly beat Jordan Grace to retain the Shine Nova title. They were offered each other a handshake, but the Cutie Pie Club came in to attack both women, but they saw both of them off, and then they did actually eventually shake hands. And then Lufisto retained the Shine Championship over both Holly Dead and Eve Elise. And Lufisto cut a promo afterwards, and she's been saying she's been champ since January, and that makes her the best champ. You know, no matter whether it's one opponent or two or however many, she ain't scared of anyone. Probably because Sue Young's push got destroyed because of WrestleMania weekend. Damn it. And then the AIW's Cool as Ice show. We have Bobby Beverly beat Sean Schultz. Britt Baker beat Faye Jackson. Frankie Flynn beat PB Smooth. Thanks to interference from the production and Magnum CK. I guess the veteran team, if you want to call it that, of Ethan Page, DJ Z, Laredo Kid, Gringo Loco, and EC3 beat Trey Lamar, Joshua Bishop, AJ Gray, Garrison King, and Malcolm Monroe III. Matthew Justice, victorious over Maxwell Jacob Freeman. To Infinity Beyond beat the Iron Jew group of Grado and Colt Cabana to retain the tag belts. Joey Janela beat Sanjay Dutt to retain the Intense title. Filthy Tom Lawler, victorious over Dominic Guarini. And then Tim Donst beat Tracy Williams and Lewis Linden to retain the Absolute title. And then they announced Tim Donst will be defending that title again at the next show on November 24th, Hell on Earth 13, against Monsieur Nick Gage. He's back. Maybe. Unless he gets locked up again. But you never know. So also coming up as well, Preston City Wrestling. The Friday show is going to be streamed live on Powerbomb TV at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock UK time. It's entitled It's Bigger on the Inside. On this one, we've got Yestin Reese's title celebration, apparently. Ricky Knight Jr., Sona Durson, Mike Bailey, and the returning Charlie Sterling in four-way cruiserweight action. NZK are going to be facing some sort of team. Basically, the UK Hooligans are going to be out for a while because I think Zach had some sort of concussion or head trauma. Certainly, his brother was saying on social media and everything that he'll be needing MRIs to make sure that everything's okay. And until that time, he isn't going to wrestle because all that matters is him and his brother until, you know. So, hopefully, you know, get well soon, Zach. Definitely. From myself and probably Owen and everybody. Oh, wait, it's just us now. Nightshade taking on Vader Scott. Lucy Cole and Lauren withdrew to injury, so that's why it's just a one-on-one with Nightshade and Vader Scott. It was originally supposed to be a four-way. Lionheart, one-on-one with Jake Long. Big T and Tel Bannum face Matthew Brooks and a mystery partner. Dean Allmark defends the Cruiserweight title against Chris Ridgway. And then an interesting one between T-Bone and Bubblegum. It's a last man standing match, but if Bubblegum loses the match, he's retiring. So it's a biggie. They've also got a show which isn't being put on Powerbomb TV on Saturday in Halifax, UK, that is. Not Nova Scotia. Viva Fax Vegas it's being called. The matches set for this one include T-Bone versus Sheikh Al-Sham, Philip Michael versus The Arcadian, Dave Birch versus Jake Long, Tel Bannum versus Dean Allmark, and Ashton Smith versus Chris Ridgway, among others probably. But the big stuff I would say happening this week in the UK is Fight Club Pro's Project Mayhem doubleheader. So Friday, both of these at the Starworks Warehouse, which is a pretty good venue, I can say, because I went there, obviously, for King of Trios. So there's going to be a death match with CCK taking on the Callous Hearts of Jimmy Havoc and Clint Margera. Dan Maloney versus Shea Purser. A four-way tag match with Scarlett and Graves, OI4K, Black Coffee of Joe Coffey and Amari. That's an interesting combo. And Aussie Open of Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Jessica Havoc, one-on-one with Millie McKenzie. Good luck, girl. That's gonna be a proving ground sort of match for Millie. I really hope she does well. Travis Banks also goes one-on-one with Jordan Devlin. And then the first of the big double headers, British Strong Style take on Team Dragon Gate of Aita Shima and the Open the Dream Gate champion, Masaki Mochizuki. So, yeah, that's pretty big. He's also in action, along with the other guys, on night 2. He's going to be in a four-way, taking on Travis Banks, Mark Haskins, and Kyle Fletcher. Also, we've got another four-way with Jordan Devlin, Mark Davis, Millie McKenzie, and David Starr. The Callous Hearts will be taking on Scarlett and Graves. Omari, one-on-one with Shane Strickland. British Strong Style will be taking this time on Team Wrestling Revolver, which is basically the original OI4K of Sami Callihan and the Chris brothers. And CCK versus Chima and Aita as well. Should be an interesting match itself. Lucha Toronto having its Lucha Fest 2. El Gordo Empanadas in Toronto, Ontario. On this one, we got Danny Orlando versus Argus, Freddie Mercurio versus El Cranio, a triple threat featuring Ophidian, I'm not sure which one, Smiley and Lionel Knight, Psychosis Jr. and Aero Boy take on the Fraternity in tag action. We've also got Pinky Sanchez versus Carter Mason, and Deshaun Pratt defending the Premier title against Tyson Dukes. Alpha One has the Phantom of the Banquet Hall. Ba 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 ba. On this, we've got the Besties in the World taking on the Western Med Connection of Daniel C. Rockinen and Jim Nye. A sudden death six-man tag with Team Gavin Quinn of Gavin Quinn, Adams, not sure of his first name, and Donovan Danhausen. Again, quickly getting these notes. Against Team Ethan Page, so obviously that's Ethan Page, but also we've got Eazy-E and Cheech. In a no DQ grudge match, we've got Steve Brown taking on Mark Wheeler. For the Zero Gravity title, it's a three-way dance with Gregory Iron defending against Space Monkey and Shane Saber. Paco Gonzalez takes on Dominic Guarini. We've also got Kurt Stallion taking on Alex Daniels. And then a four-way elimination match for the Alpha Male title. Kobe Durst defending against ACH and Josh Alexander and Alessandro Del Bruno. Pretty big there. Freelance Wrestling this Friday in Chicago at the Logan Square Auditorium. Shaken Not Stirred. Bond reference, of course. So the scramble match this time, at least featuring Kobe Durst, Shigehiro Iri, Dingo, Gringo Loco, Gassy, J. George, Everett Connors, and Space Monkey. We've also got Brew Baker versus Rob Matter, Superiority Complex taking on the M-Words. The tag titles are on the line with Team Beta taking on Matt Nix and Alex Olsen. GPA versus Sammy Guevara. Eric Cannon one-on-one with Bucky Collins. The Fest Wrestling title will also be on the line in Triple Threat as Sue Young defends against Kylie Ray and Akane Fujita. And the Freelance Wrestling World title also on the line. Stevie Fierce putting the belt up for grabs against B-Boy. On Point Wrestling also returns this Saturday at the Kevin Hogan Memorial Hall in Williamstown, New Jersey. For this one, we've got Sean Carr versus Too Hot Steve Scott, Alex Payne versus Pel Promo, Xavier Cross versus Sonny Kiss, an OPW Unlimited title qualifier fan four-way match with Damian Smith, Bill Avery, Jeff Cannonball, and Mark Angel. And the number one contenders match, we've got Drew Blood taking on G. Raver. The best around of Bruce Maxwell and TJ Cannon face Unbreakable Andy and Drake Chambers. In a dream match, Joey Janela takes on Nick Gage, practically a year on from when he nearly got murdered by bloody Zandig. And Anthony Deppen, one-on-one with Matt Tremont for the OPW title, before Tremont heads over to Japan for that crazy week. Beyond Wrestling are also doing a set of shows. I'm not sure how much of this is actually being screened, because it does say Powerbomb TV pre-game as well as the main show, so it looks like all of this is going to be on Powerbomb TV, if you do want to catch it this Sunday. So, for the pre-game show, as they're labelling it, there's going to be Dick Justice versus Francis Kip Stevens, Roy Gulak and Jay Freddy facing Wheeler Yuta and Tracy Williams, Deonna Purrazzo one-on-one with Penelope Ford, and Matt Tremont versus Ace Romero in a 15,000 thumbtack match. Right. By the way, the show's happening at Electric Haze in Worcester, Massachusetts, if you are interested. You can find more details on Beyond Wrestling's Facebook page for sure. Set to compete, but not in matches yet for the main card, are Zenshi, Mikey Webb, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and EYFBO. But the matches we do know, JT Dunn one-on-one with Martin Stone, AR Fox versus Joey Janela, Team Porg of Jordan Grace and LuFisto face the Gentleman's Club of Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, Brian Malonis one-on-one with John Silver, the Doom Patrol of Dickinson and Yaka face the Amityville Project of Mike Werner and Ryan Gallione with Rex Lawless, and also Joey, Ryan, Johnny Cockstrong and Massage MV against a team of 4. I don't know who, because it's a mystery to everyone, apparently. So the Evolve show's happening this Friday and Saturday. The Friday show is Livonia, Michigan. And the Saturday show is Summit, Illinois. So basically Chicago. Both will be on Flow Slam if you want to catch them. The Friday show, Evolve 92, has confirmed, in terms of matches, Zack Sabre Jr. versus somebody for the Evolve title. Thanks, Davey. James Drake and Anthony Henry defending the tag belts against Ethan Page and ACH, the Trolls, or whatever they're calling themselves. Matt Riddle and Keith Lee faced Dickinson and Yaka. And also Fred Yehi versus DJZ. Also set to be there, Tracy Williams with Stokely Hathaway. Darby Allin, Austin Theory with Priscilla Kelly and Jason Kincaid. Along with probably more, maybe. And for Evolve 93 on the Saturday, this is the Illinois show. ACH, Ethan Page, Dickinson and Yaka all set to be involved. Also a freelance wrestling title match, which I'm guessing probably tells you that Stevie Fierce is retaining that freelance title. So I don't know who's going to be facing, we'll have to see. But the other matches, we've got Anthony Henry versus Jason Kincaid, James Drake versus Austin Theory, Darby Allin taking on DJZ, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Fred Yehi in a non-title challenge match, Keith Lee versus somebody, again thanks Davey, and Matt Riddle defending the WWN title versus Tracy Williams, accompanied by Stokely Hathaway, I should say, in an anything goes match. Anything goes. Heaven knows. Toes. And the big stuff this weekend, Ring of Honor. The Death Before Dishonor 15 pay-per-view happening out of Sam's Town Casino in Las Vegas. On the card here, we got Chuck Taylor versus Marty Scurll, Jay White and Punishment Martinez in a Las Vegas street fight, Silas Young versus Jay Lethal in a last man standing match, The Kingdom of Taven, TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marsaglia face Bully Ray and the Briscoes. The winners of that match later in the night facing Adam Page and the Young Bucks for the 6-man tag belts. The Young Bucks then themselves will also be defending their, I guess, 4-man tag belts against the Motor City Machine Guns. Kushida defends the TV title against Kenny King. And Cody versus Minoru Suzuki as well. Man, that's going to be some crazy shit. There will be matches as well as part of the TV tapings the following day on the Saturday, again in Sam's Town. No matches, though, are being advertised for that one yet, so we'll have to see. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if there was some Daniels and Kazarian in some shape or form. So there you go. Somewhat shorter, by about only 5 minutes, which wasn't what I was planning. But there you go. Forgive me if the TV reviews or the new stuff is delayed. You know, I'm busy this weekend. If that's the case, they'll just go up late, and I'll say on the videos that, you know, it's late, and I apologise. But I've certainly got plenty of food ones, sip and snacks that I can send over in its place. So, I'll see you on the next video. I've got to get going playing some video games for 4 straight days, even though some of it's probably going to be queuing.